Everything is broken. What a wonderful time to be alive. Sounds chaotic, crazy, something that you wouldn't want to be involved with. Well, today I'm going to invite you to embrace broken, okay? And see that broken is okay and failure. Has anyone ever made a mistake or things hadn't gone right in front of the office, in front of your kids, at the family, maybe presenting? Keep your hands up. Now, if you've done this, have you ever celebrated like that circus clown that falls off the trapeze and does a ta-da? All right, we have 2 in here. Great. So we're gonna stand up. Everybody stand up. I know people out in internet land can't really see this right now, but you can join along. Yeah, right. So we're gonna practice what's called the failure bow, and it looks like this. I failed. Okay, and on the count of 3, everyone's going to do that. 1, 2, 3. I failed. Great. Turn to the person next to you and say it again. 1, 2, 3. I failed. How does that feel? Okay, I raised the energy in the room, but it's so counterintuitive when you fail to say that and open up your body and celebrate something versus when we do make a mistake, we curl up and get smaller. So we're going to we're going to play a game. Don't sit. Everyone stand up. Who's going to be my unsuspecting volunteer? Who wants? I knew Anna's hand was going to go up first. You don't. Come on. I'm taking off my shoes. Yes. All right. Okay. So we're going to play a game. We have to be in the screen. So we're going to be back on TV. Okay. We're going to play a game, and we're going to count to 3. And I'm going to say 1. You say 2. Then I say 3. Then you say 1. Then I say 2. Oh, I forgot one thing. We're going to do 3, 4. I forgot one more thing. We're going to change that I failed, because if you walk around when you make a mistake and you walk around saying I failed, we're going to change that into a ta-da, okay? So when you make a mistake next time, we're going to do a ta-da on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! All right. I love that music. Now we're back. Come back. All right. I'm going to say 1, say 2. Ready? And it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Now, find a partner, and you're going to try this with your partner.
It's really hard. In a good way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! Yay!
Okay, attention back here. Attention back here. Yay, we had some ta-das. Now done. The one hard thing about this is getting everyone's attention back. So, as in life, as in being an entrepreneur, as in everything, things get challenging. So I'm going to make it a little more challenging. Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of 1, we're going to clap.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like this. No, I'm sorry. You just want to speak. Clap. 2, 3. Clap. 2. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2. Ta-da! You try it. 2, 3. All right. Thank you very much. Have a seat. Okay. Thank you for playing. I can play that more. We can make it challenging. We change the 2 to a snap. We can play all of this stuff. So why do we do that? To embrace failure and have fun with it. And as a presenter, if I totally screw this up, I hedge my bets and I can just go, ta-da, done. So a little bit about me. I am a pack rat. I know that's maybe an American term, but I save everything, almost like a hoarder. So a pack rat is I save digital, emotional, and physical things. These happen to be all of my business cards from my past journey of career. And I love that there's other people up here that have the crazy fun titles. I was VP of all things fun, meaningful, and rewarding at Salesforce Foundation. I call myself the human API at my current job at Mirror D, which is the Telstra Accelerator. So I just wanted to share what all this means. And what I'm going to talk today about is about letting go of things that you hold on to and changing our mindset So we've just changed our mindset on what failure can be and how we can, and things that are broken, and how can we reshape and redesign how we see things that are broken. So we're going to open up and change things. And a lot of you that we're speaking today, we're about seeing things that were broken and embracing them and finding solutions for them. And we need to change this. If we want to change the world, we need to change our mindset. And it's not just about IQ, having a high IQ or an EQ. It's really about adaptability. And if we let the game play a little bit longer, you would figure it out. There's a pattern that you can get when you're playing with your partner, that 1, 2, 3, and practicing and still laughing at that and being able to move on and celebrate yourself and get over those bumps that of the challenges before you find the solution or find the right what you need to be doing to fix things. Now, as an entrepreneur, this is your nirvana, being able to find something that's broken and fix it. One of these mindsets that we need to change is that winner takes all. And I know Sabrina's talked about it. The accumulation culture that we have is ruining the planet. And this mindset of winner takes all is hard at the top of the economic funnel, but even harder at the bottom of the funnel for women and minorities. So these are the things that we need to change. And what I'm going to talk about, this model that Moira had mentioned, is how we're changing how capital flows. There are 8 people on the planet that have the same wealth as 3.6 billion people. That's a lot of money that's out there, and that's broken. The capital, the wealth distribution. The economic model has played out and needs a reboot. There's been the industries are being disrupted, and we need innovation, fresh thinking to change things the way that things have been done. We need to change them to create a better world. In 2008, what you call the GFC, that was something new for me before I got down here. By the way, I am from the land up over, if you haven't been able to tell by my accent just yet. We found $17 trillion in 3 weeks to bail out the banks. That's 600 years that's 600 years without hunger on the planet. We found that money in 3 weeks. So things are broken. Let's fix those things. And this has been mentioned several times by some of the panelists. Only 4%, this is a global number, 4% of venture capital goes to women. 2% if you're a woman of color. Less than 1% of corporate procurement goes to women. And there's a $12 trillion in global economic opportunity without this gender parity, and Moira mentioned this as well. So these are some data. And by the way, women are not a niche. We are 50% of the population. So yeah, everything is broken. What a great time to be alive. We made this up. There are systems that are in place that have been in place for many, many years, and we haven't disrupted them. And women were not at the table when these systems were designed. We need to change that. And it's not about just add women and stir. We need to create a new playing field, not just level the playing field. We need to be continuing to have the conversations, the ventures that have been spoken about, the social enterprises, the conversations, the solutions. We need to have, there are things that are out there, and we can change the status quo. We can change it. Here's some more data points. Women make up 80% of purchasing decisions. And as Moira mentioned, also the same stat, women are set to inherit 75% of the largest wealth transfer ever. And women are starting businesses 1.5 times the pace of men. So this really excites me and it's very interesting to me. I'm not an economist. I am not a financial whiz, but changing the way capital flows excites me. This is, we can change the way people are funded, the way money goes and fixes the world, the communities, and it changes that wealth dynamic. There are cultures that were organized differently, and I'll explain a little story. The indigenous people had a collective economy based on the potlatch before it was, I thought you were going to go into this, the potlatch before it was outlawed as uncivilized. The First Nations leader in Northwest Pacific of Canada would host potlatch ceremonies which functioned to redistribute the wealth around the community. It was in a gift-giving ceremony. A new communal economic exchange value where individuals would accumulate until they had too much and then give it out. Because the spoils belong to all. So this sounds like it's very co-optive, it's very communal. And I love this. It wasn't just to go to the person who was the best gifted trader, but it went to everyone. They valued giving as the highest form of citizenship, not accumulation. What? So we have the opportunity to change this. And this was interesting. So Vicki Saunders, who Moira referenced before, she's the founder of SheEO. She was talking about when she was negotiating her company being sold or getting investment, she would bring up these things, and these VCs, the men in the room, were saying, that doesn't fit on the balance sheet. These are things like culture, the right people in the room, knowing how to ask. I'm loving watching Anna over here. There's no one to see her. And so these things are really important. The 360, the holistic company, it's not just about numbers on a balance sheet. And I keep hearing this from all of these presentations today. It's about making an impact. It's about changing the status quo. It's about radical generosity. How can we be radically generous? And this concept was what is behind the SheEO model. So what is SheEO? SheEO started 6 years ago in Canada. I'm from the country below Canada. It's a model of inviting women to contribute $1,100 up to 500 women. So there's a $500,000 fund that gets loaned out, zero interest loan, to female entrepreneurs selected by the women that have contributed. The women that have contributed are called activators. They're not donors, they're not investors, they're activators because they're activating their capital, their buying power, and their network. And I've met many people through this initiative here in this room as well because of this new exciting model. These zero interest loans are paid back over 5 years, so you have a perpetual fund. So when your daughters and granddaughters start to go and look for capital and funding, well, where did you get funding? Well, duh, I went to SheEO. And that's what excites me, to be on the beginning line, testing this out, the pioneer of this new model. It's radically different as well. People can't get their head around it. If you're used to the way things have been done, this is very different. A democratized selection. So Anna and Pledge Me was one of the applicants. They applied to get this funding. We have about 300 women that were activators, and they went online and they read the 12 questions, which were so heartfelt and easy and not your typical jargon. And the women who are activators who have the buying power, they don't have to be experts in investment or finance. I call this the gateway drug to investing. So it's women that get to select, yes, these are great, I would vote for them, I would support them. Supported growth. So it's not just money that you're getting as the loan, as a venture, you're getting a network of 5,000 women around the globe that want to see that you are successful. While you're not getting the money back, that $1,100 that goes into that pool, there have been conversations for follow-on funding, and these activators figure out how are we going to get more capital to these ventures in a VC form. But I also want to, we don't talk as much about growth and customers. Ventures and founders need customers. It's not just about that capital. How can you get customers? So 4,000 women around the globe that are talking about you, that's one way. And so I mentioned 4,000 women around the globe. So we're changing this radically different philosophy from winner takes all to a collective economy. From go big or go home, winner takes all again, to your own terms. So you can show up as an activator, as much effort you want to put in or as little as the time that you have. From control to trust. This is another one. Oh, how do you know? You don't have all the information in the background and the documentation on this. Well, we're going to trust one another. And when you have trust, I think that's a currency that's invaluable. From scarcity to abundance. When I first started this, I helped launch it in the US. And I was just a consultant. I didn't have regular income. And I'm thinking, if I'm spruiking this, I need to put my money where my mouth is. So I didn't have the capital inflow that I thought. And I became an activator, and oh my God, the abundance that showed up. Or rather, I recognized all the abundance that was there because of tapping into this. From transaction to relationship, this is about becoming and helping one another rather than just writing a check and that's it. And fear to radical generosity. It's been amazing, the people and the ventures that have shown up. Again, 12 questions. Why are you the person to be doing this? Why is the right time? What is your business model? Very simple, 12 questions, not jargony. So anyone that's writing it can just write it in their own words. I have 11 and 12-year-olds that are activators. My favorite question, however, is what is your ask? So the venture gets to write what is their ask to the 300 women that are reading their application. And it's everything from I need introductions to diversity and inclusion people at corporations. I need help with fundraising. And it's amazing, and women get like, I can help here. So we are on our second year in Australia. Last year, it was our first. We tried it out, and the response was incredible. Here are the 5 that were selected by the activators across Australia. It just so happened that all 5 happened to be from 5 different states, which helped me learn my geography of Australia. And it was this incredible process for the ventures. So when they're selected, when these 5 ventures are selected, they go away on a retreat 2 days before the summit, which is a full day summit. But on this retreat, they decide how the money is being divided up. And the rule is it can't be divided evenly, and it can't all go to one person. So in these 2 days, they learn about their negotiation style, they learn about business, they get to know one another. They use words that are not typical business words. They bring them out like love and respect. And so they're creating, again, this 360, this holistic company creation and culture. 3 examples of the companies of those 5, just to give you a background on it. All of them self-identify which sustainable development goals they are addressing. The applications, the criteria to become an applicant is a minimum of 50K revenue. They have to have revenue because it is a loan. So we need to some level of bar, and then to 2 million, up to 2 million in revenue. So we have Jenny Brown, Environex down in Tasmania. They're reprocessing industrial waste into second life products. So again, the circular economy. Neighborlytics happens to be a tech platform. She's down in Melbourne. A social analytics platform, transferring the way we plan, design, and manage neighborhoods. Very, very cool. And the world's biggest garage sale up in Brisbane, making a model of, again, circular economy. And what's really cool is here are about 50 of the ventures. So, you used to have, you have footy cards, football cards. Vicky's from Canada, so she thinks hockey cards, baseball cards. How cool to have these female ventures, these trading cards of all of the SheEO ventures. So they're all right here with their descriptions. Just some stats of how SheEO has been doing globally. It's 6 years old. 4,000 women around the globe, $4 million in loans, 53 ventures in that portfolio. 3 jobs have been created for the ventures on average of all of these 53 companies. 100% revenue growth on average, some a lot more. It has all been paid back because the women are hell-bent. The activators want to make sure that these founders are successful. At scale, we would love to have $1 million activators globally, $1 billion fund, 10,000 ventures, tens of thousands of jobs created, and then the investment opportunities above that. So we're just at the beginning, and exciting to start here to kick this off. Again, sustainable development goals. These are the ventures and the goals that they're tackling. So all 17 are addressed in one form or another. And we asked this question: how would you think or act differently if you were surrounded by radically generous people? One thing that I have learned here, and I talked about the ask and give, and we do this as a practice at a lot of the events. Who here, if someone were to ask for help, you would help? Who likes to help others? Now, who loves to ask for help? Okay, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard, but look at the hands that went up. You're denying those people what they like to do. So think of it that way. Ask for that help. And people, once you get used to flexing that muscle, your ask muscle, if I don't say that specifically, it sounds different. Your ask muscle, things will start happening. What's the worst that can happen? Say no. So these are the questions that we have. And this is where you can find out more information about SheEO here. We are looking for women. Right now we are in selecting the 5 finalists. So if you have a woman in your life, there have been men that have activated, gifted to their wives, their daughters, their sisters. You can activate with some friends. It's $1,100. You'll be able to vote. So this is my ask. You can vote for the top 5. There is a summit in Brisbane on April 2nd. Vicki Saunders will be there. The Minister of Innovation will be there. It's an amazing, energetic event. And that's when we announce the 5 selected women. Now, that's not to say that the 82 women, the 82 ventures that have applied are not getting any feedback. And I know Anna, who's been one of them, you get feedback as an application. The activators can provide feedback, which is great.